Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Police investigate stolen laptops from fraud hit SSL head office. UHWI chairman resigns under controversial circumstances. And later in sports, Jamaica and West Indies battle case at Court of Arbitration for sports delayed until January 2024. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here are the details. Head of the St. Andrews Central Police, Senior Superintendent Marlon Nesbeth, says an investigation is underway after items were stolen from Stocks and Securities Limited Wednesday night. TVJ News understands that at least 5 laptop computers were removed from the office on Hope Road. The investment firm has been at the center of a multi-million-dollar fraud probe. The Financial Investigations Division, FID, reported this week that the fraud is now over $30 million US dollars. Some 200 clients have been affected at the financial institution. There is a major fallout in the leadership ranks at the University Hospital of the West Indies this afternoon. The chairman of the board of directors has resigned under controversial circumstances. It comes after concerns were raised about governance and procurement practices by the board. Giovanni Dennis is tracking the story. Giovanni?
Thank you so much, Shamila. Well, what we can say is that the health ministry is moving to contain a massive fallout in the leadership ranks of the University of the Hospital West Indies this afternoon. Now, it comes after the sudden resignation of board chairman Wayne Chai Chung on Tuesday. Now, TVJ News has seen that resignation letter. Now, sources say the chairman resigned after his decision to remove Fitzgerald Mitchell, the hospital's acting CEO, was overturned by the health ministry, or the health minister rather. Now, there are concerns about interference by the minister with that decision, but sources say there has been simmering discontent about how board decisions were being taken for months now. The most recent issue stems from efforts to appoint a new chief executive officer of the hospital. Now, concerns were raised by some members of the board about a proposal to hire a 68-year-old professional from Ireland who would be paid nearly 3 times more than the $12 million package for current CEOs of public hospitals. Now, we should say that this is outside the budgeted amount for a CEO of a public hospital. However, we understand that the board had intentions of seeking private funding to make up the difference. Now, last month, a board member wrote to the Ministry of Health raising concerns about governance and procurement practices by the board. Now, TVJ News has seen an email sent by the Health Ministry through the Permanent Secretary Dunstan Bryan asking for a deferral of all potentially controversial decisions until the health minister met with the board and addressed the concerns of board members. But according to our sources, the chairman went against that directive, met and discussed the issue, and it was announced on Saturday that the acting CEO would be removed and returned to his substantive post. Now, it led to disquiet among senior hospital staffers. The minister reportedly met with senior staff on Monday and reversed that decision to remove the acting CEO. By Tuesday, the chairman announced his resignation. Now, when TVJ News contacted the health minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, for a comment, he declined, saying he is not prepared to comment at this time. Now, Mr. Chai Chung, who resigned as the board chairman, also declined to comment when we contacted him a short while ago. However, sources say the minister is scheduled to meet with the board of the hospital this evening to chart the way forward. Of course, Shamila, we are tracking this developing story and we will have more in subsequent newscasts.
Thank you, Giovanni. To other news now, 6 Haitian nationals were picked up by the St. Thomas Police Wednesday morning. 3 adults and 3 children were detained in Fort Leith Hall sometime after 6. According to head of the St. Thomas Police Division, Superintendent Alison Byfield, intelligence led them to the Haitians.
Ages of the children are 4, 5, and 11. And there are 2 boys and a girl. The adults, when interviewed, they have indicated to the police that they are in the island approximately 2 years now, and they have been living in the Fort Leith for all that time. We have them in our custody because they entered the island illegally, and we are in dialogue with PINICA, treating with their presence here in the country. The children are presently in the custody of CPS SSL, who are caring for them until a final decision is made.
3 people are now in police custody in St. Anne following the theft of cables belonging to telecommunications company Flow on Sunday. Several residents in the area have been inconvenienced as they're still without internet and other services. Ramarda Lyons reports.
It's been a communication nightmare for residents of Runaway Bay St. Anne for the past few days. On Sunday, thieves made off with several cable wires belonging to telecommunications company Flow. The cables were found inside a truck in Mines District near Runaway Bay. Now this has left residents without internet and other services. Acting head of the Area 2 Police, Senior Superintendent Gary Francis, says 2 men and a woman were held with the cables and will be charged soon.
The police was alerted to a situation where a group of men were seen in cutting down the property, the cable wire for a utility company. I think it was Lime. The police responded and managed to apprehend 3 persons, including a female, and seized a truck with a quantity of cable belonging to Lime and a motor car. We understand the motor car was rented, but was then used for the purpose of committing up this offense.
SSP Francis says the suspects were detained in what was described as a bizarre series of events. Residents of Mines had staged a roadblock along the main road about 5:15 Sunday morning after receiving reports that vehicles were being stolen from a party in an adjoining community. The suspects traveling in a truck and a car encountered the roadblock and tried to retreat. However, the vehicles crashed and the suspects abandoned them in a bid to escape. The woman was mobbed by the residents, while the 2 men were held during a search of the area. SSP Francis applauded residents for their efforts to protect their community.
We are aware that offences like this have economic impact, social impact, as also other far-reaching impact on their society. So we urge our citizens to continue being vigilant in their communities, and if they notice anything that is unusual, feel free to call the police.
It's reported that one of the suspects, a construction worker of Chester District, St. Anne, was out on bail for attempted larceny and malicious destruction of property. Ramarda Lyons, TVJ News.
Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson is sending a warning to criminals that St. Elizabeth is not the place to use as a hideout spot. Speaking in the parish on Wednesday, Major General Anderson said, despite the limited resources, the JCF is still able to nab those who commit serious offences with the use of technology and other operation strategies.
As Commissioner, I've sent 21 vehicles down here over the period, and about 10 motorcycles on top of those pickups and other vehicles that you see some passing here. But I recognize that the circumstance, once you start to get that type of thing, we need to be agile, we need to be responsive. And so the quick response motorcyclists make a large difference to things because they are difficult to see, they are well trained.
The police commissioner says 34 police officers were sent to the parish since the start of the year. He also said more young people who have other options are joining the force.
And they say, you know, that is viable. That's a good option for me. I want to be dressed like that guy. You know, I want to be in an organization where the members of the organization are proud of what they do. And they're proud to serve the communities they serve. And these ones here are proud of serving St. Elizabeth. A number of them are sons and daughters of the soil here.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. The Westmoreland police say they have been making some progress with investigations into the recent robberies in the parish. While noting that the success is limited, the cops say several suspects have been held. O'Shane Masters reports.
Over the past few weeks, robberies in Westmoreland have escalated to troubling levels, worrying stakeholders, especially in Negril.
I feel very bad about it because tourism is our bread and butter in this town. And when we have a situation like this, it affects us tremendously.
And so, reports from the police that progress is being made in holding those responsible for the robberies was reassuring. Head of Operations for the Westmoreland Police, DSP Adrian Hamilton, says quick action led to the capture of the suspects minutes after one of the robberies.
Part of the dragnet that we had in Little London, we were able to intercept 3 motor vehicles, 2 of which were Axiom motor vehicles and 1 Allion. And those personnel are still in custody as part of the investigation into the spate of incidents that have been taking place.
He says the operation is part of the increased deployment of police personnel to address the issue heading into the holiday shopping season. The suspects held are all from Montego Bay, which confirms the police's theory that a criminal syndicate, including persons from outside the parish, are behind the spike in robberies.
The call came into us that these were suspicious vehicles and men that went on establishment, apparently attempting to scout it out and, as part of the whole robbery thing. So they were intercepted and those persons are in custody.
He says other operations have resulted in security teams intercepting criminals. However, some have managed to escape. In a bid to bolster the efforts, the police have asked business operators to assist with CCTV camera footage to help with investigations. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Bank of Jamaica says the current rate of financial fraud locally is not at a point to destabilize the local economy. Deputy Governor at the BOJ, Dr. Jade Lewis, says that the issue is, however, a major concern for the central bank.
It's still quite small. It's not a threat to the stability of the financial system. The banking sector is about $1.6 trillion in terms of assets. Banking frauds at its peak is about $1 billion, and it has meandered between $500 million and $1 billion.
The Federal Trade Commission is urging a U.S. appeals court to block Microsoft's recent $69 billion purchase of video game publisher Activision Blizzard. The FTC believes a lower court judge was too deferential to Microsoft's promises about the future of the game Call of Duty when she allowed the deal to close this year. The district judge ruled in July that 11th hour contracts Microsoft signed with gaming companies concerning Call of Duty would resolve anti-competitive concerns related to the Microsoft Activision deal. Now, the FTC believes she went too far in that ruling and made its argument Wednesday before a 3-judge panel of the 9th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm O'Shane Masters.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, search and rescue operations are underway after a military helicopter carrying 7 people, including 5 senior Guyana military officials, vanished near Guyana's border with Venezuela. Authorities say there was bad weather in the area, stressing there was no indication it may have been hit by hostile fire as tensions escalate between the countries. On the international scene, a suspect is dead after killing 3 people at the Las Vegas campus of the University of Nevada. One other victim remains in critical condition. The shooter died after a confrontation with the police. Police say the gunman was a white former college professor in his 60s. Investigators say while no motive has been established for the killings, it's understood that the suspect had unsuccessfully sought a job at the university. And a teenage girl fatally shot her classmate at a school in western Russia before killing herself Thursday morning. At least 5 other children were injured in the shooting, one of them seriously. It's understood the gun used was registered to her father, who is also a parliamentarian. It's believed the 14-year-old girl may have been involved in a conflict with her classmates. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Ann Simpson.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with Spencer Darlington. Thank you, Spencer. And that's the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pullen. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.